The following is brought to you by Stephen Terry Pest Elimination.
You're listening to the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast.
What smells so bad?
It's strong, but you'll get used to it. Now here's your hosts, Nick Stevenson and
buddy.
Chris Clark.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is that time again. Whatever time of day it is, wherever you may be listening in the world, welcome to episode 27 of the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast. My name is Nick Stevenson, and I am still just one of your gracious and humble hosts. Christopher Clark, aka the Hype Gorilla, is in the building.
What's up, my dude?
And I know I say that we have a special guest every time we have a guest, but today we truly have a special guest. Sarah Coligan, soon to be Sarah
Copeland.
Copeland.
Not much of a change. But
I used to pronounce your name wrong every time. I would read it as it was spelled, and I'm like, that doesn't sound right. But you corrected me. Sarah Coligan is in the building. If that name sounds familiar to you, that is because Sarah Coligan is the owner, the CEO, the boss of the Urban Soap Bar, who is one of our sponsors. And we are so thankful that you decided to not only attach your business to our brand, but that you decided to come in today and have a conversation with us. So I'm looking forward to it. You have a story of a young woman who persevered through controversy.
It's also your birthday today.
it is my birthday.
Happy
I
birthday.
forgot to mention that. It is your birthday. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Next time you come on your birthday, we will be bearing gifts.
I've already had like 2 cakes. So.
Have you? Okay. I thought about doing that. It's been a hectic week. I'm just going to give you a fist bump this time. But yeah, for sure. We appreciate you so much on your special day deciding to join us. When you told me, September 5th, that's my birthday, I was like, you sure you want to come? I think you and your fiance had just met. I'm like, you sure you want to be getting married on that day? Like, let's put that down with pencil and see what happens. But yet, out of all of the cancellations that we've had this season, here she sits, and we appreciate it very much. But yeah, so happy birthday, first of all. And the reason we wanted to have you on is I've told you many times that, first of all, today is the first day we've met in person.
Yes.
But the way we came into contact with you is we had a mutual friend who I've actually never met in person either. When you're doing this and you start branching out and trying to make connections, it's amazing how many people you become close to that you've never seen face to face.
Met, yeah.
So Megan Rodriguez from Get Baked Goods is how we got in contact.
Right.
The Thanksgiving of the year that we started the podcast last year, she decided to help feed a family. And I thought, man, that's a really cool story. I reached out to her. Hey, we're doing a Love and Good Vibes. It was only our second episode.
Yeah.
And I said, can I tell your story in this Love and Good Vibes episode? And she's like, absolutely. So once we did that, then she tells me, hey, my friend Sarah wants to put together a jacket drive. And we're like, yeah, we're all over that. Let's do it. And so the Holly Jolly jacket drive that ended up being our corny, our corny
outtake on it.
Yeah. Which we got some support from our close friends and family, but Sarah is the one who helped us get all of that stuff that we collected where it needed to go.
We did a lot of, there was a lot.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I mean, we did better than I thought we were going to do.
Yeah.
Because we ended up, actually, before you leave, I think I have some leftover stuff that I forgot to...
I've been stocking it up all year, man.
Yeah.
Up all year waiting.
And we made plans. We were like, hey, let's do it again this year. Let's do it early. And then the whole COVID-19 thing kind of, put a wrench in those plans. But I'm glad that you're sitting here so I can tell you, first of all, thank you for helping us do that. And even though we've not met in person, like, you've been such an integral part of what we do. And just the positive vibe that you put out, like, I could tell you were good people. And I was like, this is somebody we want in our corner, Chris, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like I said, you have a story of persevering through some adversity to get to where you are today. But let's just start from the beginning, because you are a local girl. You said LaPorte, Pasadena.
Yes.
Okay, so where were you born?
Pasadena.
Born in Pasadena.
Getting down, Dina.
Yeah, buddy. You and Taylor Brooks. Let's see. Taylor is 27. So y'all probably weren't around. Where did you go to? Where did you like do your main growing up?
So it was kind of back and forth with my parents divorced when I was young, so
Okay.
they both lived different places. But
Right.
I went to Catholic school.
Really?
Until 10th grade.
Is Catholic school as bad as the movies portrayed to be?
Yes.
Is it? So you got beat with the rulers and stuff?
Had to kneel on rice.
Really?
Yeah.
So are you Catholic today?
No.
Okay, yeah.
Is that the reason?
That is a common thing, man.
PTSD.
Look. No offense to any Catholics out
No,
there,
of course
because
not.
you do what you do,
Yeah.
and we don't have any problem with that. But yeah, I've heard that story a few times before. So you're born in Pasadena. You go to Catholic school in Pasadena,
It was in Galena Park.
in Galena Park. Okay, and so what brought you eventually to LaPorte, which is
My
the neighbor of Deer
mom
Park?
moved there with her husband.
Okay.
And so I went back and forth between her and my dad living there.
Okay, so
And so
what's your
LaPorte-
high school?
I actually, for when I went to public high school, I went to Pasadena Memorial.
Pasadena Memorial. That was Taylor's school. Okay. We see you. I saw a picture of you. You were a volleyball player? Mm-hmm. Okay. So was sports your thing when you were growing up?
Yeah, I did basketball, volleyball, soccer. I even played a little football.
Oh my goodness.
Nice.
Baller.
There was a girl in our junior high who played football.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Really? What was your position in football?
I actually don't even remember actually getting on the field. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
was
yeah.
on the team,
You were
but
the
they
honorary-
were afraid. Yeah,
I
they were
got
afraid
you.
to put me out there.
Yeah, that was still a little early. We're
Yeah.
progressing in that area. You go look on YouTube. There's this little 9-year-old girl who's juking the hell out of all the boys on her team, and it's hilarious. Like, and it's funny because she's so small. Like, it looks like there's just a helmet and some shoulder pads running around with legs. But she's bad. She's bad. So. Look, girl power, we're all about it. Look, we have daughters, so we're all about, hey, girls, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. So, who was your biggest supporter growing up when you're doing your sports, when you're doing your thing? Like, who was your number one supporter?
I feel like both my parents did. You know, they went to every game. They went to every practice. They took me to like different people to like, hey, if you want to get better, this person will help you. Like they were really good about that. My dad. So he's kind of always been like, he did sports and he's always owned his own business. So pretty much with everything, he's been kind of like, I'm going to show you how to do this because this is what I know.
Exactly. That's cool. Do you have any siblings?
I have a brother,
You have
a younger brother.
A younger brother. Okay. So, growing up, you guys, you're the athletic one. Like, was he
He's
in
the
sports as
gamer.
well? Oh, he's the gamer.
gamer.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what's funny about that? Just really quick. Like esports is a thing now. Like
Yeah.
there are people getting paid money
yeah.
to professionally play video games.
Dude, I'm gonna jump in for a second. When we were sitting on the couch, I think I was at Jonathan's house. My buddy Jonathan Hughes. I've never been a gamer. I've never been a
Yeah.
like my thing is I like Super Nintendo. Super basic.
Right.
Let's sit on the couch, play Mario, whatever.
Right.
And I'm on the couch playing Call of Duty, and I'm just getting fucking blown away. Like
By a
It's-
6-year-old.
it's
Or no,
pathetic.
Jaden's like 5.
yeah, Jaden's like 5, and he's like slaughtering me. I'm like, man, I want to get in. I want to get in on this. And then
Yeah.
I start looking at how much these fuckers cost. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. It's a
for the
it's
for the
a
console,
commitment.
$600.
It's a commitment. It's a
Yeah.
commitment.
And
But I say all that because you remember when you were growing up playing Nintendo, your parents were like, "Don't play that Nintendo; it's gonna rot your brain." Like,
Yeah.
and now that we've advanced in our study, like people have discovered, like actually playing video games exercises
Oh, yeah.
certain sections of your brain and teaches you hand-eye coordination. And now people are getting paid, like life-changing money to play a video game.
I
So
always
it's
tell
weird.
him he should do that.
Right,
Crazy.
because I don't know how old he is, but I know when we were growing up, if you played video games, you were just a loser.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
now
Oh, yeah.
it's different times. And if you don't pay attention, if you're one of those people stuck in the past, you'll see a person who's heavily into video games. You're like, oh, this guy must be living in his grandma's basement. Right? Like, no, some of these cats are like balling because they're playing
Yeah.
video games. So
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. So you graduated from Pasadena Memorial?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know that you are a young woman, so you must have had a plan immediately. Like, this is what my future is going to be, because all the girls that in our life, like, they already know what they're going to do. And my daughter's 8, and she knows what she's going to do with the rest of her life already. When you're a boy, not so much. So when you were growing up, like, what was your passion? What did you feel like you were meant to do in this
So
world?
I was really into photography all throughout high school, and I took like every class with photography. And then when I ended up going to college, I took photography. And so my very first business, I was 16, and I started a pet photography business. It was mobile
nice.
pet photography.
Nice.
Entrepreneur at 16.
There you go.
See
I
what
love
I'm
it.
talking about? What were you doing at 16, Chris? I don't even want to tell y'all what I was doing at 16.
Yeah, no, we're not going there.
I was working for a dog groomer, and so I was doing a photography class, and I was like, oh, maybe I could take some pictures, like set it up, take pictures of some of the dogs, and then see what their owners think and
Right.
give them prints. So I started doing that, and then it was going really well because I guess, on the spot buying was like, oh my God, this picture, like they weren't expecting it,
Yeah,
and they see
right.
it, and I gotta buy it. So that happened. And then I ended up saving up enough money to get a trailer, and I had a 12 by 8 foot trailer that I set up a little studio in, and I went to different dog grooming places and took pictures.
Nice.
That is nice. And this is all before the age of 20.
Yes.
Okay. So, man, so you were bossing out. That's impressive. That's impressive. So at what stage, because you are a mother now, what stage in life does that hit you?
I was like 24 when I had her.
Okay. Yeah. So you were a baby, but you weren't like
Yeah.
a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I had my daughter when I was 20, and I had no idea what the hell I was doing.
Yeah.
And I wasn't starting a business at 16 years old either. So I definitely was not ready for that hitting me. So was it a planned pregnancy?
No, it was definitely unexpected.
Unexpected?
We had just gotten married, my ex-husband. We had just gotten married, and 2 months later, I found out I was pregnant. And I was like,
These things happen.
this happened really
Yeah.
fast. I was in nursing school.
You can't blame anyone but yourself, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was like,
we all know
oh
how that
my
works.
God, yeah.
We took the class.
Well, I had the Catholic version, so
That's true. That's true. So, how old is your daughter now? And if you don't mind, you can say her name.
Scarlett. Yeah,
Scarlett.
she'll be 7 in December.
7 in December.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. So, tell me how becoming a mother, because you first of all, you had her in wedlock, which in our day and age is unusual.
I know. I was like,
And you,
phew.
right. So, and you obviously had a plan of how you wanted things to go, because you say that was
Right.
unexpected. So tell me about the adjustment you had to make and how becoming a mother changed everything for you.
Well, like I said, I was in nursing school, so like you can't miss time at all. Like if you're wanting to finish, you can't miss more than 8 hours.
Right.
So that's like
Damn.
two classes.
That's not even time to get fucking sick.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
none.
Damn.
So I was going to school and having like literally a vomit bag.
Oh, wow.
Like
Wow.
morning sickness. I took my finals the day I gave birth. So I took finals, and
Wow.
then I drove myself to the hospital.
Somebody get this woman a cape.
Yeah, no shit.
That's insane.
So it was kind of, oh my gosh. And then after having her, after going through all that schooling too, I ended up not even wanting to be a nurse anymore. I did it for like 6 months. And then I was like,
Yeah, so you took your finals. You
yeah,
got your RN.
Yes.
And then,
And then I was like, oh, because 16-hour shifts, and sometimes they call me
Right.
at 2:00 in the morning, and I was like, I don't want to do this with a baby, like a newborn.
Right. And from what it sounds like, you sound like you were more of an artistic
Very, yeah.
minded type person.
Yeah.
So what made you get into nursing? Like the idea
was-
that this is how I can make money.
Making money, and I am like a people person. I
Right.
like helping people, and I was like, what's one way something will always exist, and I can help
That's true.
people, and so I liked that aspect of it. But then once you're actually in it, like sometimes you get the opportunity, but a lot of the time it's
Yeah. Understood. So you decide this probably isn't for me. You said you did it for 6 months.
yeah.
Okay. So now you're 6 months into nursing and you now have a 6-month-old daughter. How does life go after that? Like once you decide I need to make a change.
Well, everything kind of happened crazy at that moment. Our townhomes that we lived in flooded. And so here I was like quitting my job, and then, like, what am I going to do now? But
Right.
it was the way I had to quit. It wasn't something I wanted to do, and I definitely wasn't planned, but the facility I was working for was just, they were terrible people.
Right.
And I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like this is affecting me mentally and physically.
Yeah.
I love a good
So,
quitting story.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it.
That's
Especially when
his
you're
jam.
miserable. I love it.
I'm like, oh God.
Fucking see you later.
It's so hard when, especially if you're doing something you enjoy doing, you just don't like who you do it for.
Yes.
That is the worst feeling because something you would normally take joy in
Yeah.
is just sucking the life out of you.
Yes.
So yeah, my man Chris, he loves those stories because
Oh, yeah.
he's all about making moves. So you said your townhome flooded
Yes. And it,
after you quit your job.
yes. So it was like, now what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So of course, I got to call my dad. I hadn't lived with my parents since I was like 17, 18. So I was like,
Right. Dad. gotta make that walk of shame back home.
and I'm
yeah.
like, so, so
You made it
he'll
longer
email
than
in.
me though. I was gone for like 3 days when I had to tuck my leg between my tail, or my tail between my leg, and come back home. I had already been grocery shopping at their house for 3 days anyway. They're like, you keep eating here. Why don't you just come home? Just come on home.
Just get back
I was like, okay. So did you go live with your dad?
Yes, I moved in with my dad, and so while I was in nursing school, I ended up taking a chemistry class. Like it wasn't required, but I took one, and that's how I learned to make soaps and bath bombs.
Okay.
And so I moved in with my dad. I just started making them just because I enjoyed making them,
Right.
and started coming up with different shapes and molds because I liked being creative with it. And
Right.
then my dad was like, "What are you doing?" Like he actually accidentally ate one.
No.
He thought it was like candy. So I was like, Dad.
He's like, you do not need to be making candy.
Yeah.
This shit is nasty. That's
What is
funny.
that?
There's actually, I hate to interrupt you, but there's kind of an important detail I forgot to ask. So when you move in with your father, are you still married?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you and your ex-husband
Yes.
and your newborn all move in. Okay.
Yeah.
And so
Sharing
at
a
that
tiny
point,
little room.
at that point, this soap thing was just kind of a hobby for you?
Yes. Yeah. I was
Okay.
doing it just for fun. And then I remember having to like have my friends and family like check them for like a grade.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, oh, they like them then, I'll just make some for Christmas or I'll make
Right.
some for whatever birthdays. And then it got to be where like, I'll pay you to make some because I need some for this. I'll pay you to make some because I need some for that. So it turned into like a hobby, like straight into a business.
Right.
And then
Wow.
within 2 years, I got my first storefront.
Wow. So where was your storefront at?
Seabrook was my first one.
Seabrook.
Yes, it was
Okay.
right by the Seabrook Waffle Company.
Ah, man, if you ain't been to the Seabrook Waffle
Yeah.
Company,
Is it good?
oh, bro,
It's delicious.
it
I've
is.
never been there,
Every time I crave it,
but I love me
it's
some
on Sundays,
waffles.
and they're fucking closed.
Yeah,
And
that
it pisses
happens.
me off every time I think about it.
Yeah, yeah. So the Urban Soap Bar is what it was named from the beginning?
It was Scarlett's Garden to begin
Scarlett's
with.
Garden,
After
okay.
my daughter.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so where'd you come up with Urban Soap Bar?
I was trying to come up with something more catchy and like something that I can make a brand out of and do other
Branding's,
things.
branding's
Yes.
a big deal.
Yeah,
It's
and
a big deal.
I had taken a marketing class, and they told me, you want your name to represent what you want to do. And so the bar part was because I wanted people to actually come in and make their own stuff,
Right.
Ah, okay.
like everything. So there'd be a facial bar, there'd be a soap bar, there'd be a face mask, and whatever
Right.
whatever they wanted to make. I wanted to have a section for everything. They could customize it themselves, make a thing out of it.
Okay.
And that's how the soap bar
Yeah, yeah.
started.
You
And
got
that worked out well.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was going pretty well.
That's pretty badass, man. You don't hear shit like that.
No, it's a very unique.
You don't
and-
hear. I've never heard of somebody like going in. I mean, soap bombs have been around and been a thing for not
Right.
soap bombs. What are they called?
Bath bombs, yeah.
bombs, yeah.
They've been around for years now.
Yeah.
But like going in and actually like making your own shit, that's fucking cool.
Yeah,
I
that
dig
is a very cool idea. I hope that dream is still alive because
Oh yeah, I'm reigniting the fire.
there you go. There you go. And so you said you were in Seabrook, and that was just 2 years into selling to your friends.
Yes.
And so
That's
you
a
got
big. That's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal. I'm without giving away too much. I have looked into storefronts and I've looked into what it costs to run something like that, and it's.
It's crazy.
I mean, that's hella impressive after 2 years.
Yeah.
That's hella impressive.
2 years is impressive.
Yeah.
How long were you there?
I was in Seabrook for a year and a half, and then in Harvey hit.
And then Harvey. So that was another bit of adversity that you
Yes.
faced. And Harvey, was it just flood or was it?
Yeah, it flooded, but the furniture, the store, the way it was old building, really old building. So just even getting a little bit of water in there, pretty much, it was like maybe a foot, but it pretty much ruined like everything. Like the furniture was like falling apart and everything was floating. And of course it smelled really great.
Right. Right. There's a lot of bath bombs in that flood water. So this happens a year into the storefront being open. Okay. Are you still married at that time?
No.
So in the course between making soap for your friends and getting your own storefront, your marriage ends.
Yes.
Okay. And how difficult was that to go through?
It was really hard because I also, growing up Catholic, it was kind of like, you're married, you're married. Like, it doesn't matter what happens, you're staying married.
Right.
And if not, you're going to hell. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I was,
and even if you're not Catholic anymore,
yes.
I know from the way I grew up, when something's been ingrained into your mind for so long, you can tell yourself all day, like, you know what, they were making a big deal of it. It's not that big of a deal. But in the back of your mind, I mean, it's been implanted in there. And so it feels really uneasy, even when you're not living that lifestyle anymore. Yeah. Like, there's still just this uncomfortableness with it.
I felt super guilty. I didn't tell any of my family for like 2 years. Like, they still thought we were married for like 2 years. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm not going to tell them. Grandma's going to be so upset.
Right. That's crazy. How old was Scarlett when you got divorced?
She was a year.
Okay.
So I feel like we just kind of drifted, and we were both going different directions. You know, I was doing my own, like, my business and trying to do something, and I felt kind of weighted down. Yeah. And I hate saying that, but that's how I felt. I was like, this doesn't feel like it fits anymore.
If it's really important to be with someone who supports what you're into,
right?
And they're headed in the same direction. They have the same type of energy.
Fucking crucial, man.
It's very important because, and
I would say that's almost the main ingredient to it.
It's if everything else can be perfect, if that's not right,
it ain't gonna work.
Right.
It's not gonna work.
Not gonna work.
And I know this because I've told this story many times. I used to be the person in the relationship who didn't have anything they were passionate about and was having a difficult time supporting my wife's passion, and I would say that I was really kind of being a drag on her. And the difference in my situation is I had to snap out of that shit. I'm like, look, you want to keep this woman, then you're going to have to get on board and be supportive, but also ask myself the question, why am I having a hard time being supportive? Really, it's because I'm not doing shit. Yeah. Excuse me. So I got to figure out something that I'm passionate about. And my wife didn't blink an eye when it came to this podcast. Like, she was 100% supportive. We used to do it at our house all the time. She'd be mad when I leave the equipment on the table for 3 days editing. But, you know, I mean, that's just normal, you know, but she has always been supportive up to this day. And that's extremely important. And I know Chris will say the same thing about the 700 different things he decides to do on a weekly basis.
Yeah. I mean, Haley actually finally came to me and said, look, there's a line and you're about to cross it. No fucking more. You can't do no more.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, I did that. I did photography and that, and then, you know, I was doing this, like, opening other businesses, and I'm like, oh, I have a good idea for this. Let me try this too. And
It's
like
that's my thing. Is I love the beginning part of it. I love the startups. I love the hype. I love the excitement. I love fucking telling everybody. Like, I love that initial fucking skyrocket. That's my jam, dude.
And then sell it.
And then sell that motherfucker.
See where you can take it.
Yeah, he's not trying to be there through the whole life of the baby. He wants to take that baby and pass it off. I hear you. No, but he's good at it. And so, I mean, I can understand 100% where you're coming from, especially about the feeling guilty part and you feel guilty because you're a parent and you want to provide. Like, once you had that child, you had this idea that you were going to provide them with a lifestyle and a family, and it's very difficult to do that.
Especially since my parents divorced when I was 2, so I was like, that's not going to happen to me.
Exactly. That's always the story, right? I'm going to build the family I never had. And then it's funny, you realize, because I used to say the same thing, and I don't know. I always tell yourself you got to stay humble, but also don't think too highly of yourself. And because I used to, like, think that my relationship with my daughter's mother was like an example to all other relationships. Like, I got on my high horse like that, right? And when you fucking fall and you hit that pavement, like, it's like, okay, maybe I need to check myself. So it's a hard pill to swallow, and it's difficult, but it also presents an opportunity because once you got that weight lifted off of you, and I do remember it took me 2 years for my divorce to go final, but when it finally did, like I did feel this pressure and this relief off of my chest.
Yeah.
But you're going through that, you lose your business in a flood.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Did you shut down for that, or did you?
So
rebuild?
we ended up reopening, but the store just wasn't the same. Like you could flush the toilet and it would come up out of the sink.
Damn.
Like everything was like backed up. Like the floor,
Okay.
there was water still coming up out of the brick. It was a brick floor.
Okay.
And there was like, it was
Wow.
yeah. And then, I'm not going to throw the name out there, but the landlord at the time, he decided that taking the insulation out of the wall and just putting baseboards up was sufficient enough.
What?
So I had no, like, it was just terrible.
Way
Like
to
moisture
go,
and.
unnamed landlord. Wow. Is that even like up to code for a
No.
Oh,
business?
no, definitely not.
No,
But
no,
nothing
no,
he
no.
ever did was.
Okay.
He had someone come install new doorknobs when I came in because they were like, I couldn't even lock it. So I was like, there's a lot of stuff in here. And
Right.
So he had someone come in and put new doorknobs on, and they put them upside down, which I didn't know.
Hell yeah. There's more than one way to skin a cat, bro.
I was like, what?
Doorknobs upside down. Fuck it.
You had to turn the door this way to open it.
That's
like,
that's
what?
crazy. So Hurricane Harvey, that's 2007.
17. Yeah.
Okay. So
And
we're at
then-
2017. You reopened. So how does that? Everything's not working. So
Oh yeah, it was a crazy time. So my mom was also, she had her incident. It was a aortic dissection is what it was called, and so she was 46.
an aortic dissection.
Yeah, so basically it's a tear in your main artery.
Okay.
And they said it was caused from like a genetic problem that she didn't know she had. So it was like the night of the August 22nd, so very close to right before Harvey happened. She called me and she told me that she just wanted to tell me she loved me and bye, and to tell my brother the same thing. And I was like, what?
This came out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Wow.
I was actually,
Shit.
I actually just got out from a concert. I was at a concert, so I was like hyped, and then also like,
Yeah.
whoa, like what is happening? And so then I tried to call her back, and she didn't answer. And my stepdad called me and told me they were taking her to Bayshore, and I was like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So I ended up driving to Bayshore, meeting her there, and she tells me that she thinks she's having a heart attack, but they didn't believe her. They told her she was having anxiety. So
Yeah.
they just discharged her.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so we went to another hospital, and St. Luke's Patients, that's right there by the Walmart. And so we went over there, and I told them exactly what happened. I was like, you're going to check her thoroughly until you find something, because something is wrong with her.
Right.
And I was like, I have nursing experience, and I could tell there's something wrong.
Right.
I was pointing out, different things. So they were very thorough, and they found it almost instantly. Like I sat down, and they came to get me, and they're like, we're life flighting her to St. Luke's in downtown.
Wow.
She's been bleeding out for several hours.
Damn.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So then, I drove to the hospital. I had to drive downtown. They life flighted her, got her there. She had like a 12 to 13 hour open heart surgery, and they got everything fixed. And then Harvey hit like the next day.
Oh wow.
So I was stuck there, couldn't leave. And then
Yeah.
that was going on. And at the time, they had her in what they call the critical care unit. So there was no room. I was sleeping in the waiting room on the bench.
Wow.
And I could only see her like for 30 minutes every 4 hours. And so it was just, back and forth. And then, of course, I didn't have my daughter with me.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like, this sucks so bad. And
Damn.
then,
Wow.
I didn't know what was going on with my store because I heard that area got hit really bad. And I was like, there's just so much going on.
It's got to be a super fucking eerie feeling.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
just I think about your own mental and physical health, the stress that comes with that. And where, like you said, you didn't have Scarlett. So where was
Yeah.
she at?
She was with her dad.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And man, Harvey was just weird because there was not power in
Yeah.
certain places. So
And from
That's-
the window where we were watching, like you could see the waters. Like we had people, like they had to shut down the basements and the bottom floors and everything and close them off. And you could see the water. There were life flighting doctors in. We had the same nurses in there for like 2 weeks.
wow.
Started running out of food.
Yeah, some of those nurses didn't they didn't go anywhere. They
Yeah.
lived there.
Yeah, we couldn't shower. There's no showers available. So I was like,
Man.
pardon my language, whore bathing it in the bathroom.
Yeah.
It was
Wow. That's got to
crazy.
be That's got to be, you know, in those moments, I don't care how strong you are, it's so easy to be like, why me?
Yeah.
Why is this happening to me? And there were hundreds of thousands of other people going through terrible situations, but it's like when it's one thing on top of another like that, and you're just like, what have I done in my life to deserve this?
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, there's been a few moments in my life where I've been desperate and questioned God, but normally what happens is later on down the line, you figure out, you know what, this happened to me for this reason, whether to make me stronger, for what you don't see it while it's happening, but you find out later down the line. So after your mom's incident, how much longer did she have after?
She was released from the hospital on my birthday, actually, that year. And she came home stayed with me for recovery, and I took care of her, and, you know, also trying to get my business, you know, cleaned up and everything. So I was taking care of her and doing that. And on Halloween, she called me again. She took Scarlett out trick-or-treating, and she called me again and said, I think it's happening again. Like, you need to come get Scarlett from the hospital. So I went up there, and she, in fact, had a heart attack that time, because her heart was just so weak from, you know, what had happened before.
Right.
And like 4 days later, she passed away.
Wow.
Now, I've not lost a parent before, and knock on wood, it'll be some more time before that happens. I've witnessed our wives lose their father, and I can't imagine the devastation of it.
Yeah, it was a big change for me. Like, everything was, my whole world was different.
Yeah. And of your two parents, you would say you were closest with your mother?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've seen pictures of her, because I know you honor her memory every time you get a chance to. She was a beautiful woman, and based on the fact that she raised you, I could tell she was a good woman, because you come from a good place. So that's really difficult to hear. I don't think anything will ever make that pain go away.
Yeah.
And there's no words that I could say to make it go away. I just say that I commend you for staying strong and keeping her memory alive, because that's really all you can do at this point. And I think she'd be proud of you, for sure.
Thank you.
For sure. So let's see. We're talking, this is September of 2017. She passes in September?
She passed in November.
In November.
Yeah,
Okay.
November.
So now your mom's gone. You're a single mother. Your business has been wrecked by a flood.
Yes.
What are you thinking at this point?
I was like, well, this is it. Like, I'm going to have to figure nursing, I guess. I go back. I don't know. You know? And, you know, I was trying to explore all my options. I started doing, like, photo shoots and stuff just to help build some money back up. I did weddings and all kinds of stuff. So did that. And then maybe a week or so after all that happened, actually, backtrack a little bit, sorry.
Yeah.
Right after Harvey, when my mom actually got out of the hospital, it was like September 22nd, HEB emailed me.
Okay.
So my mom actually got to experience a little bit of that happiness with me.
Wow.
You know,
That's good.
HEB contacting me to, you know, buy out my products.
Okay.
So, you know, I went through that with them. They, when they first emailed me and my dad actually had, where our offices were next to each other, and there was like a window, and you can like see through from my office to his office.
Right.
And I get the email, and I'm like, is this spam? So I start like researching, like, this can't be right. But they're like, you know, we want to buy like 1,000+ products from you. And
Ooh, that's a good day.
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a good day.
So when they wanted, they wanted to buy it from you, or actually like buy the rights?
they wanted the wholesale. They wanted it wholesale with private label.
Okay.
So it would be their name on the soap.
Gotcha.
And then like they wanted so much quantity of each my top scents, but then they ended up saying that they wanted like custom scents, because I, of course, after seeing this email, I'm like, oh my God, I have to like, I can't give them shit. Like,
I gotta step my game up.
Oh my God. So then, you know, I forward the email to my dad after looking, and he's like on the phone talking to someone, and he always checks his email, like instantly as soon as he gets one, he's on top of it. You know, it goes to his phone, his laptop, it goes to everything. So he's like, oh, time to check this email. He opens it and he just drops this phone and looks at me like,
That's a big fucking
is this
deal.
happening? And I was like,
that's a big deal.
I'm like, look, oh my God. And so then he's like, well, message him back. I'm like, duh. Like, I plan to, but what do I say? Like, yes, please. Like, I don't know. So, I had to come up with some kind of like proposal idea and be like, of course, this is how much this would be. And I can do this. Like, I tried to throw in that extra, like, this is what I can bring to the table besides what you just see. Like, I can custom a shape. I can make a Texas shape. I can make my own scents, because at the time I was blending my own essential oils and making different smells. Yeah. So I was like, you give me this amount of time and I'll give you something better than what you're asking for.
Right.
And
were they offering to help you with production, or
no?
So you had to figure that out on your own.
And that's the tough part.
That's the tough part, yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I'm one person. I do this by myself. I was like, man, this is going to be a lot of work. But yeah, so I ended up making sample after sample, and then when my mom had passed, I told them I need a little bit of time to like, regroup and see what I'm going to do. And I'm like, I understand y'all are a large company, and, I understand if you tell me never mind, Right. But they, of course, took that as, we see what you're doing and we like that you're still continuing to do what you want to do, and we're going to give you as much time as you want.
Right. Wow.
So they did. And then they wanted to use my story, afterwards too. Like,
well, hey. Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's an incredible story of overcoming, and that's one of the reasons I always when I bring people on to tell their story, and I say words like, "Oh, it's fascinating." Like, I don't want you to think that we're using your story for entertainment purposes. No. But one of the things we take pride in is trying to uplift our audience during times of lots of negativity,
right?
Lots of division, lots of the sad stories. Like, we want to tell the stories about the people. Like, yes, this is going on, but you can't overcome. This is what can happen.
And here's proof right here.
Right.
Here's the fucking proof.
Exactly. So we went back. So your mom was with you to experience the HEB thing.
Right.
And would you say, how would you describe that? Is that still like a work in progress? Like,
yeah. So I'm still coming up with ideas and stuff to, I guess, pitch to them, because I'm having to re-pitch things when we come up with them, because what they were originally planning didn't go
right
how they wanted it either. Okay. So it's still like a back and forth kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
Like, this is what we want to do, but we're still not sure on it.
You're gonna have to tell them, hey, I'm gonna need some assistance with production.
Yeah.
Like, y'all hook me up, I'll hook you up.
Yeah.
when that fucking egg hatches, baby, that's gonna be.
I'm telling you,
that's gonna be a big deal.
We wish you the very best with that. And I mean, look, we associated your brand with us because we know that you've got the quality, and that's why we tell our listeners about you guys all the time. And one of my favorite things that you do is the DIY kit. Yeah. And I told Chris the last episode, like, I want to make some Darth Vader soap. So I know that Sarah's going to be able to hook it up.
Yes.
So you do the DIY kits with all of it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, with anything you want to make, you can do bath bombs, you can do soap, you can do...
I don't know if you listened to the first season or not, but that was actually one of my first endeavors, was making soap.
That's what I told her.
Oh, yeah.
You put Chris out of business.
The term, like, ugly as fucking homemade soap, like, that shit was in my garage on the shelf, ugly as fuck. Didn't smell good.
It looked nice when it was wrapped up, though. You put the little label on it. I was like, that's nice.
It didn't smell good. It didn't feel like no fucking soap. Like, it was a miserable.
There was mountains of it in his garage too.
I'm telling you, there was probably 200 fucking bars. But I actually ended up shaving it all down and sending it to fucking Teresa in Missouri.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, she said she could use it for something. I was like, fucking take it. So all that shit on eBay.
There you go.
I'm done. Fuck this.
Yeah.
I know when I'm not good at something.
Yeah. So the urban soap bar, it is at this point. Once the Seabrook idea doesn't work out, when did you come up with the idea for the online?
So because I wasn't finding a location that fit what I needed, so I was like, I'm just going to do markets again, because that's how I started, back to square one, So I started doing farmers markets again, and I was like, online, because, like, people see this stuff. Now I have a following, so maybe people will, buy, and it went well. I ended up getting a second store in LaPorte on 2nd Street. And that was like a huge location. Plus, I was still dealing with HEB, and they needed like a FDA guideline room, and I had to get audited and all kinds of stuff to be able to be like one of their people. So I opened that store, and it was like a 2,700 square foot building.
And you were running that by yourself? Mm-hmm. Damn. No employees.
No employees. Off and on, I had friends that I hired for help, but it wasn't like a full-time permanent thing.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, just every time I needed like a big order, I'd be like, hey, who do I have to help, please?
Yeah, that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to ask you, once your mom passed, like, who was your support system? Like, who would you say was there for you during those times?
Definitely my friend Jessica. She called me like almost every day just to check on me. She would message me all the time. She gave me a copy of her key to her house.
Nice.
And she's like, you don't have to call. Just come over. I'm like, well, I just want to make sure you're not naked. So I probably will call.
Right.
But yeah, she helped a lot.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's important too, to have good people in your corner, to have a good circle. So you're going through some adversity. Here's when I think when we were introduced to you, you were single. I don't know if maybe this was brewing at that time. I don't know exactly. We'll get to that in a little while. But I noticed, I don't know what the details of your divorce were, but one of the things I noticed that was refreshing is here was a young lady who was focused on being a mother, focused on owning a business, and just always putting out positivity and good vibes. You were never on the, I hate men are losers, men are jerks type thing. And maybe you were feeling that on the inside. Like, it's very possible that you were. But I'm a very firm component of the energy you put out into this universe is the energy you receive back. Right. And if you keep putting out positive energy, positive things and positive people will be attracted to you.
Right.
And so that was, I think it was episode 3 when we were doing Wheel of Spirit. And I'm up here on my horse preaching to young ladies about there are good men out there, blah, blah. Nobody wants to hear that from a guy. Everybody's like, shut up, but from a male perspective, I can tell you, and your fiance would probably agree, when you see young ladies putting out that negative energy and you're a good guy, you're like,
no.
I don't want anything to do with that. No.
Like, unattractive.
Yeah, there's no way in the world, because no man, first of all, it's obvious that something's happened to that young lady that she's very upset and bitter about, and that's understandable. But no man wants to have to pay the price for something he didn't do.
Right.
And so even though that may be your natural inclination, if you've ever had your heart broken, if you've been hurt, if you've been disappointed, you have to find a way to power through that and have a little bit of optimism and a little bit of hope and belief that there's still good things out there. Right. Otherwise, it's not going to come to you. If you're constantly stuck in that negativity, it's not going to come to you. And that was one of the things that stood out to me. And you're yet another case of a young lady who got scooped up before she could be on 2 Ps in a podcast. Because I was like, Sarah would be perfect for this. And then she announced that she had a boyfriend, like literally like 3 days later. And I was like, I remember I texted you, I was like, can you guys pretend that I hooked y'all up? I was like, we can totally rig this thing. Like, let's just pretend that I hooked y'all up. But, yeah, so that was one of the things I wanted you, if you could expound on that. Like, what was your mindset? What was your frame of thinking at that time when I'm sure that your divorce was hard on you. I'm sure that being a single mother was difficult. I don't know how often you dated in between, but you probably ran into your fair share of assholes. Like,
oh yeah,
it's going to happen. Yeah. So just what were you always that way, or did something click in you that said I need to pretty much get rid of the negativity?
After going through a divorce, I was like, you know, you're always going to be the bad guy in somebody's story. Like, not everybody's perfect. I know I've made mistakes too, and you know, I can 100% say that our divorce wasn't 100% his fault. You know, I did things too. You know, I wasn't.
That's so huge,
perfect.
Sarah, to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but every time you see somebody, it's always, oh, this person did this. Like, there is a lot of lack of self-reflection going on right now, because nobody can point the finger and say it was 100% anybody.
Right.
That's the biggest part. Like, you won't be angry and bitter once you realize, you know what, I had something to do with this too. Yeah. So that's huge. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but continue.
Yeah, so that's just how I saw it. You know, I can't hold anybody else accountable but myself, even for things that happen to me, because I put myself in that situation. Exactly. So I try to think of it that way, just stay positive and keep going, because, you know, that's there. Once you're down, there's only up.
There you go.
Right. So you're doing the urbansoapbar.com. I know not that long ago you went back to doing, was it hospice or
Yeah, I started
at home care?
Yes. Yeah, I was doing hospice care and taking care of patients that were on hospice or going to be going on to hospice.
And this came up because another bit of controversy your business faced was COVID, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the most recent.
Fucking
Yeah, and I had to close. I closed I had a LaPorte store and a Webster store, so I had a third store,
Right.
and I had to close both of them.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
I forgot you. I forgot about the Webster store.
I had
So
Webster too.
yeah, so COVID-19, I remember talking to you and you're like, hey, I'm trying to save this thing. I'm working hard. I'm doing my best. And I'm like,
Yeah.
if we can do anything to help. And then I remember you made the announcement that you were closing your stores. Now, where in this time frame, see, this is why the pre-interview is important, but it's okay. We're gonna get this together. And while all this is going on, when do you meet Travis, your fiance?
We actually met last year on his birthday.
Okay.
So it's like around Christmas.
Okay. Okay. And so last year, this is post Harvey, pre-COVID, your mom's passed. Okay. So where are you at as far as your business is concerned? You have the stores at
Yeah, I
this
still
point.
had the store. Yeah. So I didn't close the store until February.
Okay.
And that was, it had already kind of been slowing down with also me paying for rent on 2 buildings, electricity, 2 buildings, like everything. I was like, this is getting to be too much.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going the way I wanted to go. Also, I feel like I changed the way I did things because I was dealing with HEB. I wanted to fit more of their style because I was like, I have to please the people that are about to be ordering thousands of products.
Right.
So I was like, there's certain things I want to do that I can't do because of them. I felt like I had to fit a certain look
Right.
and style, which wasn't mine.
Right.
So I lost my passion for producing new things because I was like, what if HEB sees that and they don't like it?
Right.
So now I feel like after closing it, I was like, I made up my mind. I'm going to do the DIY kits, during COVID. Probably something everyone can do. I did actually get a lot of orders during the beginning of COVID happening. Cause
I forgot to order mine, but we'll handle that before you leave today. We'll handle that before you leave today, for sure.
Is your soap antibacterial? Yes.
Yes.
It is a COVID cure.
For sure. For sure. So when you meet your fiance in the midst of all this controversy, I'm going to go ahead and assume that he was attracted to you for the reasons that we were saying, the positive energy you put out, and you're also an attractive young lady. So, but were you ready for a relationship at that point?
I had
were
just
you
gotten to
looking?
the point where I was like, I'm done with relationships. Like, I'm going to be on myself again. Like, work on me.
It's
like,
when you stop looking.
yeah, I'm
It's
like,
when
this
you
is
stop
it.
looking. That's when it happens.
I was in kind of like a dark place mentally too, because I was, my business was not where I wanted it to be.
Right.
I wasn't in any kind of relationship. It's still really hard for me dealing with my mom's passing because I feel like when you have someone your entire life and then they're just not there anymore, it's like, how do you mentally keep reminding yourself that it's going to be okay? Because
Right.
So, dealing with all of that, and then, we met and instantly, like, I always felt better around him, even just as friends. So I was like, I gotta chase this person. I said I was gonna be single, but
Right. Yeah, you got to swallow that pride.
Yeah.
So it started out as just a friendship.
yeah.
Okay, so what was it about your guys' friendship that you said you always felt better? What was the difference between this one and the other ones you'd run into?
Basically, I felt like I could be more myself. Like, I didn't have to hide anything, and I could talk about things. I mean, one of the first times we met, I was like telling him some of my deepest secrets. I was like, "Oh, that's too much. Why would I do that?"
He's about to run. Travis, where are you going?
I was like, "How do I backtrack from that?"
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, when I met my wife, I was older than you are, and you get to a point where you're like, I don't got time for the game.
Yeah.
The BS, like, here it is, take it or
Right.
leave it, and it's probably something that if we did when we were younger, maybe we would have had success in our previous relationships. But like I said, everything happened for a reason.
Right.
You just laid it out.
Yeah.
Like, hey, here it is. And
Yeah.
that is the biggest key. Just be honest.
Right.
The good, the bad, the ugly, throw it out there, put it on the table.
Right.
Let that person decide right now, hey, is this a deal breaker? No? All right, well, then let's take the next step. Like,
Yeah.
let's do what we're going to do. So that's really awesome. And the fact that it came along when you weren't looking,
Right.
and at the right time for you, that's a beautiful thing, man. I love stories like that. And I knew when I was talking about, hey, we should get Sarah to do the 2 Ps in the podcast, I even told Chris, I'm like, we don't have long. Like, we gotta hurry up because we don't have long. I think we're like Good Luck Chuck. Every time we find a young lady and we're like, hey, you want to do 2 Ps in a podcast? She's like, yeah. Like a week later, she finds the love of her life, and we're like, wait a minute. Oh man. So yeah, as a matter of fact, I don't know. I'm not gonna make an announcement on 2 Ps in a podcast. It's hanging on by a thread right now. It was a wonderful idea, one that I do not want to give up on. It's hanging on by a thread right now. We might have an announcement about that later. So, how did you pop the question?
Actually, it was 4th of July. I was not expecting it at all. I was just
was
chilling in my pajamas.
Not because we didn't conspire or anything, but I can't remember what, because we were talking about soap, we were talking about podcasts, we were texting back and forth about different stuff, and I was like, you're not going to be, when I was asking about coming on, so you're not going to be getting married on September 5th, are you? And she's like, no, that'll probably be more towards October or something like that. I'm like, yeah, you know what's coming. You know what's coming.
Yeah, so we were just sitting there, and he was on his tablet, and I saw him like kind of setting it up and stuff, looking at it, and then he walked away, and I didn't think anything of it. I was like, that's odd, but whatever. Like, I'm not gonna look too much into that. And I even saw the little light on to like it was recording, but I was like, what would he be recording? Like, so I was like, no, that's probably just a glare from the window, whatever. Right. So I just keep doing my thing, eating breakfast, stuff in my face while he's recording me eating, I guess. my daughter's sitting there, and he had bought her a puzzle the night before.
Right.
For her to do, so he brought her puzzle out, whatever. Well, then he comes around the corner with another puzzle. And he's like, here, let's do this one. And so I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, another puzzle for us to do. Puzzles is our thing. And so we start putting the puzzle together. Scarlett took it over. She took it. She's like, I'm doing this. And I was like, okay. So he's probably like, shit.
Yeah, she's a boss like her mama.
So Scarlett starts putting it together, and I noticed there was a piece missing. And he says, oh, there's a piece missing. Let's find it. So we start looking for this missing piece, and he puts it in. And Scarlett's like, they're all done. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And I'm just still staring at it. It's a picture of us. So I'm like, oh, cool. When did you have time to make this? And I was just freaking out over that part. I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, so sweet. No one's ever done that. And then he's like, oh, well, what's that? And I'm like, what? And he's like, in the plant. There's a plant in the picture. And I'm like looking, and there's like a little box. And I'm like, that wasn't there before. So I look at the plant, and I'm like, oh my God.
Damn. This is like a thought out fucking process.
That is slick. That is extremely, dude, props to you, bro. Props to you. Travis has joined us. He's sitting in the background. He said his shot. I'm hoping he'll pick up that guitar in a little bit and sing for us. But yeah, man, I hate to say this, Chris. That was a lot better than your proposal to Haley.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you haven't heard that story, go check out episode 12.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry. Yes, episode 12. No. That was episode 11.
Or
Love and Good Vibes Part 2.
Just go talk to Haley. She'll fucking
there you
tell
go.
you all about it.
No. Go check out episode 11. It's a good story. You guys check that out.
The funny part was his parents had borrowed his truck. And so they were going to be back like any minute. Well, in the middle of him proposing, they start ringing the doorbell a bunch. Like,
man.
They don't know that he's like,
Oh, God.
yeah,
It was almost perfect.
it's like he's got the ring out, and he's like, he forgets to say what he's going to say. So Scarlett goes, will you marry him? Like, that's what he's trying to ask. I'm like,
Oh, snap. That is perfect. That is so perfect. Man. Good job, Travis. Good job.
That's impressive. That's impressive.
That is very impressive. And very original.
yeah,
I haven't seen any movies with that, at least. I was trying to think, was that in the Notebook? No. What's another girl chick flick? That's pretty good. So, with everything that you've gone through and up to this point, like I said, I think we've established you're living the best parts of your life right now. You seem happy. Your daughter's happy. You've kept the memory of your mother alive in a way that I know that's probably difficult for you, but do you think about like, man, if she could see me now type of thing? And when you think that, I hope it's more of a happiness that you
Yes.
feel like she would be really proud
I
of
feel
me.
like it keeps me going too. Like I can't give up now because
Right.
she
Yeah.
got to see it up until everything.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay, I gotta keep pushing.
For sure. For
And
sure.
then with Scarlett too, I'm like, I want her to see that when something bad happens, you don't 100% give up. Mm-hmm. You keep
Amen.
pushing.
Amen.
And like that's kind of how I feel with Urban Soap Bar. There's been plenty of times where I'm like, screw this, like I'm throwing in the towel, like I'm done.
Yeah.
But then I'll see something, I'm like, ooh, I can make a bath bomb from that. Like
Yeah.
that's a cool shape.
Right.
Like we went to the Halloween store, Spirit Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
and they had an exorcist like magnet thing.
Right.
And I was like, I could vacuum form that and make a bath bomb. So like I'm
That's
always
good.
seeing
That's
stuff, and I have a 3D printer, so I can make any shape. So I'm like,
And you're passionate about it.
I am.
That's the most important thing. Like
Yeah.
it's something that you have the drive to do. And it's a badass idea. I really hope that everything works out for you as far as that's concerned. We're going to do our part. We're going to put your name out there for sure. We appreciate your support of our podcast from the beginning. I mean, episode 2 is when we came into contact with you. So we appreciate that very much. So after going through it all and surviving it, like, I mean, what does it mean to you when you reflect, like, to be where you are now? Like, how does...
my first thought's always like, am I doing enough? Like, have I done everything that I could possibly do? And if the answer's no, then there's always another way.
Keep going.
Yeah. So you don't have to, you pick another route. You're like, okay, this route wasn't working. That doesn't mean there's not another option. I
Right.
can figure something else out. So I'm doing the online stuff again.
Yeah.
And I'm going back to what made me passionate about it, which was the creativity that I could throw into it.
Yeah.
And creating my own shapes and my own colors and blending things, like that was my favorite part, the creativity that I could get out of it. And I'm like a horror freak. Like I love
Right.
Halloween.
That's your jam. That's your jam.
Urban Soap Bar started that way and then changed.
Right.
So now I'm getting back into what I enjoy doing and the things that I like doing. And
That's what's up.
so, and his family owns Copeland Signs in LaPorte. I don't know if you ever heard of them.
Yeah, I've seen them on social media.
But, so he's very already business minded, and so he helps me
Y'all
a
a
lot
good
on
mix.
things. Yeah,
Good
we
mix.
we go well together.
That's good. That's good. Well, I can tell you we're extremely happy for you on the outside looking in. And now that we've sat down and face to face had a conversation, even though there's microphones in our face, like I'm excited and I'm happy for you. And it's not the end. You haven't crossed the finish line.
Right.
You're at the start right now. And we wish you guys the best. Your wedding is on, I have to save the date on my refrigerator. What is the date of your wedding? I'm sorry.
10/10/2020.
10/10. 2020. Okay. How's COVID affecting that right now?
It's limiting the amount of people we can have, and I'm a huge people person. So, I mean, my family alone is extremely large.
Right.
So it's like we're going from 130 people that we want to like 50.
That's cool. You have a Zoom?
Yeah, we're gonna do the whole online
what's
live pictures because I'm like, I still want people to see things, but I also am kind of glad it's gonna be a little more intimate and
Yeah.
not so stressful.
We'll hop
So
on the
that-
Zoom. We'll hop
yeah.
on the Zoom. I'm excited
It
about
was
that.
when we got married. It was, I think, 130, 125, something like
But
that.
that's considered small, right?
I
Yeah.
get, dude.
Is
but
it?
I don't remember nothing about it.
Yeah.
It's not because I was drunk.
Right.
Like it was just, it was
was
so
a blur.
fucking fast. It went
Yeah.
by so
It
fast,
was
and
a
I
blur.
remember I do remember my ass being chapped from those fucking tuxedo pants. I'm not kidding, dude. I don't know what kind of starch they put in my phone, but I'm fucking walking like this to the honeymoon suite. It was.
Somebody get Chris some cocoa butter
That's
We'll
about
get
the
him
only
some
fucking
urban
thing
soap.
Yeah,
from the Urban Soap Bar.
it
That
was
is
fucked
crazy.
up, man. It
Wow.
was fucked up.
Okay, so you got a wedding coming up. You guys are a team.
Yes.
Like, what's the plans for the future? What is Urban Soap Bar when it's all said and done? Like, what is your final
what I'm
vision
hoping for
of what it's going to be?
is to kind of do more of like limited edition things. So, I have this many of this shape. And I don't know how long it's going to be around, so get it while you can.
Darth
and then-
Vader?
Yeah.
Darth Vader.
I need that one.
I want to do more wholesale. And, now that I'm getting messages to people, but I don't want to do the same thing I did before where I recreate my entire being. If they, I'm more firm in how I feel about my stuff now. That if they don't want what I have, then they don't.
Yeah,
they don't want
That's it.
me.
There you go.
That's
Instead of
I love
you know,
that.
I feel like HEB they've helped a lot. There's a lot of people that I still talk to all the time. They'll text me, ask me how my kid's doing. I made a lot of connections there, and they're good people, but they're a business, and I have to separate business from friendship and say, hey, I'm not going to change who I am because I like you people.
Right.
I have to stay firm in what I like, and because that's why I started this business. So.
Yeah, and that's what's going to keep you successful. If you start doing stuff for other people that you don't enjoy, that you don't believe in, you can't convince somebody to buy something that you don't even like or that you don't believe in. So
But there's no passion in.
exactly,
Right.
that's very important. Sarah, this has been a really good time. Now I hear that we've talked about this, are somewhat of an aspiring podcaster yourself.
Yes.
Okay, that's you guys in this doing 17 things at the same time. Like y'all are together on that.
I have a nonprofit foundation too.
That's right.
Yeah.
What?
Okay, stop. That's
Go. Okay.
the Holly Jolly Jackets.
Go more. I want to hear about this more. I need more of that.
So it's called Promote Texas Foundation.
Okay.
And so what we do is we help small businesses in Texas by whether it's helping them figure out how to get a loan, how to start up a business in Texas. We show other businesses that are in Texas in like farmers markets. So we'll rent the booth, and then we just have a bunch of different Texas products in the booth. And we're trying to grow larger, so we want to eventually be like the Texas State Fair.
Yeah.
Damn.
They're the ones who helped us with the Holly Jolly Jackets.
I
They're the
love
ones
it.
who got all that stuff where it needed to go. So, and I completely forgot about that. That's okay because this won't be the first time you're on the podcast. We will definitely get.
Yeah, we gotta circle back to that.
Yeah, we will definitely get more into that for sure.
Because Fair Dinkum's a 501c3, and the one thing I can say about a 501c3 is it's great. Yeah. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Getting that 501c3 and saying that you're a 501c3
Yes.
nonprofit is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It is truly.
100%.
Dude, it took us like 10 weeks of paperwork
Mm-hmm.
and the state telling us, nope, not correct, not right, not this, not that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It took a long time.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. I love that. But I do want to know more about that.
Yeah, because what I want to talk about that is because your entrepreneurial spirit became infectious to us. Like once you came to us with that idea, Chris is like, yeah, let's run with that. And it's something that we hope that we can continue to be involved with in the future. So we definitely want to get in on that. So I think Travis, I'd say you hit the jackpot, buddy. I think so. I mean, like I said, we're very proud of you. We're happy for both of you guys. And we wish you all the best, you and Little Scarlett. Hopefully we'll get to spend some more time with you guys in the future. Yeah. We're always... Now, I meant to ask you this because I saw that you would switch your lifestyle to vegan. Is that still going on?
No.
No? Okay.
We tried so hard.
How long did it last?
Almost a month.
A month.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dude.
And I'm proud of you for a month.
That's something to say because I can't imagine.
I was telling Chris, I'm like, I want to have them over for dinner. I was like, but bro, I think they're vegan. And I'm like,
We'll just eat your grass if you need it cut.
I was like, I don't know what they're going to do at our house because all we got is dead animals
I feel like it's
cooking over
more
here.
the inconvenience. Like you go to a fast food restaurant and you're like, that's not vegan. That's not vegan.
Right. It's difficult.
So, yeah, it's hard. And when you're like business and you're on lunch and you're like, we got 30 minutes to eat. Like, what do I get? Nothing. Like
Nothing.
Okay, let me ask you about those 30 days of
veganism.
Let me ask you about those 30 days of veganism. How did you feel in those 30 days?
Great.
You did?
Like my skin
like
was
it made a difference?
Yes, my skin was all clear. I lost weight. Like it was great. But I did catch myself getting hangry because I was like, I want a steak.
No shit.
Like
For real. Every time you drive by a barbecue restaurant, I'd be...
So we're right by King's Barbecue. Like,
man.
so like you open the door in the morning and it's like barbecue.
About to go kick that fucking door down.
Yeah. Okay. Well, then that's good. That means you guys can come over for Labor Day. We're good then. We're good. So, yeah, we hope to get to spend some more time with you guys and watch this journey continue to take off. And I don't know, man. I don't want to say the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast is going to ride your coattails, but we'll be there with you. We'll be right along with you for the ride. Thank you so much for showing up on your birthday. Yeah. Of all. Hey, maybe, does Travis sing to you?
Sometimes. I have videos.
See, I was
He's like,
hoping.
"Don't you
I was
dare."
hoping maybe he'd grab that guitar, step up to this mic, sing you a little birthday song real quick. It's not gonna happen.
No.
Not
He's
this
so
time
shy.
around.
He got mad that I showed his parents the video of him singing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's that shy.
Travis, do you drink? What's your drink of choice, man?
No.
Not really, no.
No. Okay. Well, we'll figure something out. If I hand you a glass of Kool-Aid, just sniff it real quick. Oh man, but that's a beautiful thing, and like I can respect that. Not everybody is a ham like me and Chris, getting in front of the camera all the time and making ourselves present. But we're very thankful that you guys came here. You have an awesome story. You're a beautiful family, and
you.
great things to come.
Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. You want to tell the world anything else before I start mentioning all my sponsors? Our sponsors.
I think I just look out for Urban Soap Bar coming back.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. What do you mean? It's already here. Sponsor of the
it's-
Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast. You guys go to urbansoapbar.com and check out all the stuff you got there. I'm going to get a DIY kit from you before we leave. Like, we'll work that out, because one of the things we said, like when we advertise, we want to make sure that we have experience with these products. So it doesn't sound corny. So I'm going to make me some Darth Vader soap. My daughter wants some unicorn soap. That's a cool little project for you to do together as a family. So we want to thank you so much, not only for being here, but for the sponsorship of the show. We want to shout out some of our other sponsors. Josh Beard is a realtor for Keller Williams. He helped us buy the American Dream, and he's the reason Studio A 2.0 exists. We thank you so much. I've said this many times. He's the best in the biz. He's amazing. He still answers my phone call to this day. He's already got his money, but if I need help with something around the house, I'm not a very handy person. He's helped his clients move before. He's gone and replaced sheetrock and done all types of remodeling on homes after he sold them. Like,
bro, Wednesday, him and his crew showed up at my house with a U-Haul to load up my truck was filled to the brim of cases of water. It's like 70 cases.
To go to Louisiana?
Oh, wow.
Man, no questions asked. He got a U-Haul, came up, showed up, and his team was just loading it up.
Yeah, he's just
Freaking
good people,
incredible.
man. He's just
Incredible.
good people, man. And he's good at what he does. Trust me, he made the home buying experience incredible. So you guys look him up, give him a call, Josh Beard. And then we want to thank the Banerjee Plastic Surgery, my baby Whitney Stevenson. She runs the place over there. She doesn't cut the people open, but she does everything else. But Dr. Banerjee is a good doctor. You can trust him. You can trust the staff there. They're great people. And if you mention the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast, they're going to give you $1,000 off of any procedure, along with some other discounts on some of their promotional items. Now, popsocks.com, that's one I got experience with now. My Pop Socks came in.
Mine ain't got here yet.
Oh, man. We're going to have to rock them together when they show up. I got the popcorn socks. They're extremely comfortable. My wife was chopping on me because I wore them to work 2 days straight. Now, look, I didn't really do a whole lot of work the first day. I'm just going to say to my employer, it was slow. So I was like, this is definitely a resock day. Like, I took a shower. I made sure I was clean. But I wore them 2 days in a row. They were extremely comfortable in the work boots. You guys go to popsocks.com. If you use this promo code Spirit Sniffers, he's going to give you 10% off your order. And then if you use that same promo code Spirit Sniffers in the Spirit Swag store, I'm going to give you 15% off. Get your Spirit Swag. I'm rocking the Caitlin Strong shirt today. Very proud of that collection. We're sending all of the proceeds from that to the Houston Women's Center. Coming up soon, we're going to be doing that around the holidays. So you guys go get your Spirit Swag. Check out the Caitlin Strong collection. And thank you guys all for your support of not only the store, of our sponsors, but of the show. This has been a really good time. You got anything you want to add, Chris, before we hop up out of here?
I think that's it, dude.
All right. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm going to get us out of here for our guest, Sarah Coligan, soon to be Sarah Copeland, and our good friend Travis Copeland as well. My name's Nick Stevenson.
My name's Chris Clark, and we'll see y'all next time.
You've been listening to the Smells Like Middle-Aged Spirit podcast. with Nick and Chris. For more show content, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.